I got some good news here for Raider Nation because the three players that I'm going to talk about here on today's show have really been opening eyes at Raiders training camp. Let's face the facts here. If we want the silver and black to go out there and compete every single week, which is something that, let's face it, we were unable to do last season. If we want the Raiders to compete in the AFC West, if we want the Raiders to compete for a playoff spot, for a Super Bowl title, you need certain guys to take that next step. Certain players that maybe their first year, maybe their first 2 years, haven't lived up to expectations. But I do think this. The three players that I'm going to talk about here on today's show, I think are all three of them are ready to take that next step. And if and when they do, it's really going to help us forget about Christian Wilkins. It's going to help us forget about how bad last season was. And it's going to help us focus on that we are moving in the right direction with Pete Carroll and John Spytek. The first player that I'm going to bring up here that's ready to take that next step, I'm going to go with Tyrie Wilson. And he has been looking really good at Raiders training camp. And I get it. This is the third year of me talking about Wilson and saying, is this going to be the year? But can we all be honest with ourselves? Look yourself in the mirror right now. Doesn't it seem a little bit different with Tyrie? Doesn't it seem like it's starting to click up here a little bit? Doesn't it seem like the guy that was drafted number 7 overall is finally getting the ball in motion and he's starting to look the part of what we were all hoping for? He's played in only 33 games. He has started in only 4. Let's face the facts here. He is going into a contract year, and he is somebody that hasn't lived up to the hype. He's entering his third year in the NFL. I'm hoping that he's ready to take that step forward. And every single player that I'm going to talk about here on today's show, I'm going to illustrate why that I believe that they're going to take that next step and why it's good news. Because if you don't think that Tyree Wilson looking and playing the way that he does right now is good news, then I don't think that you're much of a Raiders fan, man. Before I get into all the reasons why I think Tyree Wilson is ready to take that next step, today's show is presented by Panda Sups. Use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasups.com. They just got something brand new. And in something brand new, there's a surprise inside if you buy this item. I'll tell you about this item here in a little bit. Let's go to the first reason why, though, I think Tyree's ready to take that next step. He's going to be a Christian Wilkins replacement. And when you look at the production that Tyrie has had over his first few seasons in the NFL and also the opportunities, he's going to get a lot more opportunities this season. He played over 500 snaps last season, played just under 500 snaps as a rookie, but he's got a legit opportunity to work as a defensive end and a legit opportunity to work on the interior as a defensive tackle. And I think because he can be that rotationary player, that's going to be a big reason why he succeeds. Chugs, you got to give him his flowers. 2 years ago, he's like, I think he's a better defensive tackle. I slid up here, and I'll tell you, I think he's a better defensive tackle. I did think that he lost a little bit of that first step with the injury that he had, but he does look finally healthy. And a finally healthy Tyree Wilson at the defensive tackle position, finally getting more opportunities, he's going to help you take that next step. But you know what also motivates people? The dollar bills. And because this is a contract year for him, for those of you that don't know, when you're drafted in the first round, you get 5 years as a contract. But teams don't have to pick up that fifth-year option. The fifth year is where you make the most money. Tyree Wilson wants to be on that fifth-year option. But to be able to prove to the Raiders that he deserves to be on that fifth-year option, he needs to go out and he needs to play well this year, or else the Raiders are just going to decline that fifth year. So it's a contract year for Wilson. And then the final reason is this. I think that this staff is the perfect staff for Tyree. You got Rob Leonard, who is a scientist, a great leader in terms of helping out defensive linemen get better and better. And you saw Tyree get better and better as the season went on last year. But also, a guy like Pete Carroll. In my conversations that I've had with Wilson, he's a very quiet person. He's a very humble person. And I think he dealt with a lot of BS with the first regime, the second regime, because they didn't coach him the way that he needed to be coached. Well, he took it upon himself to work with Max Crosby. Him and Max have been tied at the flipping hip this entire offseason, and I believe with the staff that they have, somebody that does positive reinforcement instead of McDaniels, which was everything was negative. AP hyped him up a little bit too much, I would say, and not coaching him in terms of like telling him what he's doing wrong. Now you have a staff that's telling him what he's doing right, what he's doing wrong, and they are being able to teach it and communicate it in a way that's easily digestible for Tyrie Wilson. He's putting on some weight too, man. He looks really flipping good. So let's go to the pinned comment here on today's show. How many sacks is the Tyree Dactyl going to have this upcoming season? My answer is going to be coming up right here after this YouTube ad break. I have had high expectations for Wilson every single year that he has been a member of the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is my final year. It is put up or shut up time for number 9, and I'm going to go with 7.5 sacks this upcoming season for Wilson. He had 3.5 his rookie year. He had 4.5 last season. I anticipate 7.5 this upcoming season with somewhere around, I'm hoping, 650 to 700 snaps played for Tyree. If we want our defense to be truly elite, you need Wilson to build off the year that he had last season, and it was a solid season. A 66.7 overall PFF grade. Did okay in the pass rush, but where he really thrived was in the run defense game. And we're going to need him to be able to step up again and be a solid run defender for the Silver and Black. And I also think players like our linebacker crew, filled with Jamal Adams, Landon Roberts, Jermaine Pratt, hell, even a guy like Devin White, I think that having all of those players as well that are experienced in terms of stopping the run, it's going to help out Tyrie Wilson quite a bit. And it's why I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to be able to do for this Raiders roster. Let's keep it moving here on the Raiders report. And coming up next here, I got more players that are ready to take that next step. And the reason why I wanted to do this show is because I do want people to realize that the players that I'm talking about today are so critical for us to go from being a 8-win team to being an actual playoff contender. If these 3 players play the way that they've been looking in training camp and live up to the expectations, live up to where they are drafted, we're going to forget about Christian Wilkins. And we're going to remind ourselves that we do have a very talented team. And I think if we want to be able to make that playoff run, you need all 3 of these players to look the exact same way on the field as they've been looking at practice here at training camp. Now, I do want to say this huge shout out to everybody that's hit that sub button. We've had 808 new subscribers this week on the Raiders Report. And I just want to say to everybody that's new to the family, we're a big, crazy family here at the Raiders Report, and I will always do my best to keep you guys up to date, but I'll always do my best to show love to the nation, because one of the biggest thank yous that you can give me, obviously, is hit that sub button. Obviously, is turning on those noties. But when you take time out of your day to watch this channel, I greatly appreciate it. There's nothing more important in our life than time. So to some of the people that are new subscribers, Angel, Sim, Will, Diane, King of Kings, I see you. I appreciate you. And if you want to shout out on a future Raiders Report show, you got to participate in our live shows. You got to participate down in the comments. Make yourself seen, because I promise you, I will let everybody know who's the real one and who's doing the extracurriculars behind the scenes, because I definitely appreciate it. Let's go to the next player here that I think is ready to take that next step, which is good news for Raider Nation. Tre Tucker at wide receiver. Tucker's another player that we've been hearing it since his rookie season. He's fast. He's electric in open space. But when is he going to take that next step? And this has been a player that has been underneath that microscope because he was that pick that was exchanged for the Darren Waller trade. In 2 seasons, 33 games played. 15 of those games have been starting. And you're looking at another player here in his 3rd year. Another player here going on his 3rd coaching regime, because drafted by McDaniels, drafted by Ziegler. Then he has a brand new OC that he's got to come in and learn with, Luke Getsy, who was trash. But the reason why Tre Tucker, I think, is ready to take that next step, he personally is ready to take it in his own career. The Raiders are going to hand him the keys to the car, and I'm hoping that he's going to go out there and show everybody that I can be a solid receiver, that I can be a field stretcher, that I can be a reliable piece every single week. But the biggest reason, I think, of why Tucker's going to be able to take that step forward, he's already building great chemistry with Geno Smith. He's already showing Geno that he can be a reliable asset. And I've been saying for weeks, since the day the Raiders traded for Smith, I wonder if Tre Tucker's going to play a very similar role to Tyler Lockett. Look at a guy like Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly loves pre-snap motion. Chip Kelly loves spreading you out. Giggity. Loves being able to tack you down the field. He wants to put the ball in his playmaker's hands, and he's not afraid to spray it all over the field. That's exactly what Tre Tucker needs. The worst OC you could have given a guy like Tre Tucker is Josh McDaniels and Luke Getsy. Let's go to the next reason here. He continues to move up this depth chart. I would say he's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. He's battling right now with Dante Thornton on the outside, battling with Jack Besh as well, but he is going to get more of an opportunity this year compared to the opportunities that he's got in the past. Another thing that's going to help him get on the field, he is a really good run blocker. Pound for pound, I know I've said this a few times on this show, but I've had a Raiders player tell me this. Pound for pound, Tre Tucker is one of the strongest, one of the toughest guys on that roster, and when he run blocks, you could tell that he was a high school wrestler, and he loves kind of getting in there and getting dirty with you. He knows that he's smaller, but he wants to block, and the willingness to block and the want to block is why he's going to take that next step. And then the improved hands. You can tell already that his concentration, I believe he had like LASIK or some sort of eye surgery as well, but you could tell that his hands have improved this offseason. I've heard that in multiple reports out there this offseason that his hands are better. And, nothing has changed in terms of how fast he is, his ability to stretch the field, but there has been those drop issues, the concentration issues. And I almost wonder if he's more confident in himself, more confident in his quarterback, more confident in his offensive coordinator, more confident in just in general of where he is at. Confidence is very important, and Tre Tucker looks like the most confident I have ever seen him, and that is why he's ready to take that next step. Coming up, though, the final player that I believe is ready to take that next step, which is really good news for Raider Nation because we need all three of these players to not only take that next step, but be what we drafted them to be. And I'm really, really hoping that comes to fruition. Also, what I'm hoping is that you guys take advantage of this deal that we have right now with Panda Sups. And they have a brand new product, which anytime Panda hooks me up with a brand new product, I want to be able to sit up here and I want to be able to talk about it. So what they have is First Blood. Yeah, you heard it. First Blood. Blue Angels is the pre-workout equivalent of a patriotic flyover at a backyard barbecue, loud and unapologetic, and packed with so much power it could violate airspace regulations. This sour blue raspberry flavored blitz slaps your taste buds with enough sonic force to launch your next workout into the stratosphere. Not for the faint of heart. This amount of energy will have you climbing faster than a jet at full throttle and pumped so big it'll have your sleeve screaming for mercy. Blue Angels doesn't just support freedom, it bench presses it. The most badass collaboration is back, baby. First Blood is back to bring the mayhem and drop more bombs than a nuclear invasion. Time to strap yourselves in and unleash the carnage in style. So what you can see right now is the pre-workout that they have, but also what I found out, which was really cool, there's a surprise inside. If anybody takes advantage of the deal, which again, use code Raiders at pandasups.com, and you go out and you try this brand new pre-workout, when you open it, there's a surprise inside. The guy who owns Panda Sups is owned and operated by a die-hard Raiders fan, and he told me he's going to put a surprise in there. I don't even know what the surprise is, but he told me it's a $30 value. So when you open it, you're going to see a surprise inside. Also, though, he does also want me to mention that this protein is still available for anybody out there. Code Raiders, 20% off at pandasups.com. I've been preaching about the protein. I've been preaching about how good it tastes. But also, I want y'all to try out the brand new pre-workout because I'm just like y'all. I get done working out, or I get up in the morning, and I've been trying to do my workouts in the morning, and it's just a little bit more difficult for me. And I've been doing that because I work a little bit longer during football season. Sometimes I need that little extra jolt in the morning, and coffee doesn't do the trick. That's where I look to Panda Sups. Pandasups.com, code Raiders for 20% off. Let's go to the next player here that I'm hoping is ready to take that next step because everything that we've been hearing about training camp around Michael Mayer sounds like he's ready to take that next step. And I'll say it like I did at the beginning of the show. If we want to accomplish everything that we want to accomplish as a team, you need Tyree Wilson, Tre Tucker, and Michael Mayer to all take that next step. A player that was selected in round 2, 35th overall in the 2023 NFL Draft. A player in 2 seasons who's played in 25 games, started in 20, missed basically 2 months last season for personal reasons. And you want to make sure that Mayer is in a right headspace. And you want to make sure that Mayer understands and knows that he is being valued. that Chip Kelly plans on using him. And when you hear what Mayer had to say at training camp, I think that you are starting to realize here that he does feel very comfortable. And he is happy to be a Las Vegas Raider. And confidence, again, is a very, very important thing in regards to Michael Mayer, in regards to anybody that has a pulse. Here's what Mayer had to say at Raiders training camp. I think this is the best I have felt in my 2.5, 3 years in the NFL. No doubt about it. And I think that that comes with mentally and emotionally being where you want to be, because your body's not going to be where you want it to be. If your mental is not where you want it to be, and my mental and emotional is the best it's been also, so it's a connection of all three in the physical. Also, A.J. Nebel, the strength and conditioning coach, he's done a great job with me this offseason, and I did a great job with myself when I was at home for 3 to 4 or 5 weeks during this break. So the first reason here of why I think Michael Mayer is going to take that next step, he's mentally and physically right. And I think last season when the whole situation happened with Mayer, there was a lot of question marks. There was a lot of wondering going on. But I think there was a lot of wondering from the Raiders' side and from Michael Mayer's side. Chip Kelly, he's been using the tight ends. I mean, how many reports have you heard from me? How many stories have we seen that Chip Kelly is doing everything in his power to get Ian Thomas involved, Michael Mayer involved, Brock Bowers involved? They are using these guys all over the football field. And for the first time in Michael Mayer's career, his NFL career, he's got an OC that knows what he's doing. And that is really important, because I know we heard a lot about 2 tight end sets, but also you need to have the right coaching staff. You also need to have the right quarterback to get that second tight end out there on the field, and Geno Smith is that right guy. Geno Smith's ability to spray it deep, to spray it 10 yards, 20 yards, and to be on target is really important. Mayer also said that he's been working hard this offseason, and we know that Mayer can be a reliable pass catcher. But one of the things that I loved about Mayer at Notre Dame was his ability to block, and I'll never forget the story about Max Crosby, we'll call it humbling Mayer, that one practice back in 2023 where Max just basically beat the shit out of him. And, you know, I think that sometimes you have to have that little bit of a learning curve. And a lot of times you see that tight end take that year 2 jump, and it's because they're trying to learn out the blocking aspects of playing in the NFL. Well, last season was, a little bit of a strange season for Mayer. I think what you're seeing is he's putting together as a receiver. He's putting together with a good OC, good quarterback. His confidence is back. His mental health is back. And his blocking ability is going to get him on the field more this upcoming season, because he believes in himself and the Raiders believe in him. Now, before I let everybody else know this, I know I've already said it a few times, and we are getting ready to wrap up the show today. Chugs and I are going to be live on our main YouTube channel for the Hall of Fame game. Chargers up against the Detroit Lions. This game gets started at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But if you want to hang out with Jeremy and I and you want to watch this game, I'm going to be on our Chat Sports YouTube channel. The link is right here, youtube.com/chatsports. This link is also going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. The game starts at 8 p.m. We're going to be live at 7 p.m. And if you want to join 413,000 subs, it's going to be a big show. We're going to be probably the #1 most watched Hall of Fame watch party out there. So hopefully you tune in. Won't be as crazy as the Raiders report, but we have a lot of fun over there as well. So before I get going here, I do have a question for Raider Nation. What's the biggest impact, or who's going to have the biggest impact for the Silver and Black? And actually, this is the live poll as it stands right now. Do you think it's going to be Tyree Wilson? Do you think it's going to be Tre Tucker? Or do you think it's going to be Michael Mayer? Out of these 3 players here, who's going to make the biggest impact for the Raiders? My answer coming up after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to go #1 will be Tyree Wilson. And I just anticipate him taking that leap forward and him getting more of an opportunity on the defensive line. Pete Carroll's been speaking high volumes of him. Then I'm going to go Tre Tucker, and then I'm going to go Michael Mayer. And I have confidence in all 3 of these players. I'm just simply saying that I believe Wilson, out of those 3, is going to make the biggest impact overall for this brand new regime. But overall, in conclusion, and the reason why I wanted to make this video, we've heard nothing but positive reports from Tyree Wilson. We've heard nothing but positive reports around Tre Tucker, around Michael Mayer. And if we want to accomplish our goals, competing in the AFC West, making a playoff push, chasing that Lombardi trophy, because Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, John Spytek, these guys have done a lot of winning. They're not doing this thing not to win. And if we do want to be able to win, and if we want to be able to forget about a guy like Christian Wilkins, You need Tyree Wilson, Tre Tucker, Michael Mayer to take that step forward, which is exactly what they've been doing this whole offseason. If that's not good news to you, you might want to check your pulse.